Hello, everybody. Welcome to Building Energy. For this episode, we are actually down in Odessa, Texas at the PBIOS show, and our first guest of this series, or at the show, I should say, will be WWT International. We will have Tom Bragaw, their president, and Kody Malmborg, their regional manager for North America. So, Tom and Kody, welcome to Building Energy. It's great to have you. And how's the show been so far?
Show's been good. Just starting to see the activity today. People are starting to move around. A lot of questions asked, and glad we're here.
Yeah, have been having a really good turnout. Lots of good communication with individuals involved in the oil and gas industry here in Odessa, Midland, Permian Basin area. Looking forward to the rest of the show.
Excellent. So, I'll direct this to, well, to one of you. You can decide who wants to take this first one. But let's first explain to the audience who WWT is. Give them an overview.
Sure, I'll kick off with that. So WWT is an engineering company, and we solve customer problems by designing solutions. So virtually every product in our product line was a solution for a customer. They came to us and they said I had an issue with torque or drag or extended reach or whatever the problem was. We looked at the opportunity. If it worked, if it made sense for us, we then invested in that product along with the customer and developed a solution.
Okay, so you're basically developing products along with your clients based on basically what their challenges that they're trying to solve then?
That's exactly it. And we decide which ones of those products to work on based on what we see the requirements of the market. So a customer comes to us and says, "I have a challenge at extended reach, for example, in the Middle East."
Mhm.
And you look around and say, well, they have that problem. Do others have that problem? And if it makes sense to us that others might have that problem, we'll develop a product. And then that becomes a rental tool in our inventory.
Okay, excellent. What are some of the flagship products that WWT offers?
Sure. Cody, you want to take this one?
Yeah, absolutely. Some of the flagship products that WWT offers across the globe are our coil tubing tractors, our non-rotating protectors, our very specific casing guide shoes for problems that operators may encounter when running casing, and then also our silencer, which is a vibration mitigation stabilizer, which it's a new tool in development and becoming very successful for us.
A quick follow up on that, Cody. With these tools, are these a lot of times are these going to be used in shale, like shale gas extraction, or are they used in multiple areas?
So they're used in multiple areas, but we do see a lot of extended laterals in the shale push, especially down here in the Permian and in all regions across the globe. So
Okay.
the extended lateral length getting into 2, 3, even 4 miles in length in these shale wells is where these tools really are being utilized.
Okay, and when you also mentioned too, I think Tom, you touched on this a little bit, like with the development of the products. Why do you see WWT as more of as a service company, as opposed to like being like in product sales?
Yeah. So we don't rent or sell widgets.
Hmm.
All of our products are unique to the market. And our customers typically don't come to us and ask, oh, we need 17 of these or 35 of these. They come and say, I have this issue with my well. I have a torque problem or I have an extended reach problem.
Okay.
And the question then is, what tool should I use and how do I achieve success for this job? And so we design a solution for them and present that solution, and then they make the decision. All right, yes, that's what we want to do to solve this problem. So it takes us out of the typical, tool provider, which is just saying, all right, I have these tools for rent. Here you go. You decide what to do with them.
I see. So you're directly kind of the whole process is directly working with them. I'm going to jump back quickly just to for the coiled tubing tractors and the non-rotating protectors, and there was a third one actually that you mentioned, Cody. Just for the audience that maybe this is more for people that are maybe looking and getting into the energy space. Could you just give a quick summary of what those each do as well?
Yeah, no problem. So the coil tubing tractors that we offer are essentially a conveyance tool. So in extended reach laterals, enabling an operator to reach the toe of that wellbore, so the end of the wellbore that they have drilled, for a multitude of reasons, whether that be acid stimulation, milling frac plugs, those type of operations. Our non-rotating protectors are there to mitigate or prevent casing wear, heat checking, and as well as reduce drilling torque, and help with weight transfer and buckling issues. And then our silencer sub is one of our newer tools, and that is there to reduce vibrations, axial and lateral vibrations, while the customer is drilling, to help extend the life of other sensitive electronic tools that are being run downhole.
Fantastic. Okay, thank you. And I'm going to jump into some of the case studies as well. With the service part of it, do you have a case study where that business model has been highly successful? Again, developing those products with your clients.
Yeah, I think a really good example of that is our FlexU.
Okay.
So a large Gulf of Mexico offshore operator came to us with a specific issue, and that issue was they were having issues running their casing to target depth. In an offshore application, it's very rigid casing, so it's 100 pounds per foot or higher.
Okay.
The flex shoe was developed to assist in transitioning across tortuosity or dog-leg severity in those wellbores. And we came up with a product. We developed it. This large offshore operator used the product, liked it, has been using it since in offshore applications and on the U.S. land market. And then we took that product and started using it across the globe.
Yep, exactly. And I think tractors are the same thing.
Mhm.
We created the original design ourselves. However, over the years, our customers have come to us and said, well, you can do this with it. Can you also do that? So a perfect example would be our 212 tractor, which was a request from a customer in the Middle East who said, can you make a tractor that will go through our ESP pumps? And so it had a very small diameter. It had to be flexible. It had some new requirements to it. The basic technology is the same. It does the same thing. It engages the wellbore and pulls coil down hole and pushes the tools in front of it. But the design parameters changed in order to make sure that it got through the ESP pumps. And that was designed for that customer a few years ago.
Okay.
That design has been adapted again and changed to solve other solutions.
So it actually is being fed through the pump. So that's where you had to design it smaller. Is that right?
Yeah, it had to fit through a wire line entry with coil tubing, and it had to be flexible because that entry is not a straight passive.
Right. So you with that 212 logging tractor then, so it first was developed in the Middle East, and now though it's starting to be used more in like Texas and the USA as well now.
That tractor, not so much in the U.S., but we have other tractors that were developed for customers in the Middle East who
Okay.
had longer lateral challenges earlier, and those are now being used in the U.S.
Yeah.
Okay. So what would be the difference for the tractors that you're developing for it in the North American market?
Primary use in the North American market is milling. And
Okay.
so the tractor that we might use in the Middle East would be doing stimulation runs.
Mhm.
There's no vibration, there's no motor.
Hmm.
Um, uh, the uh, the design of the tractor has to be much more robust in order to survive the market. So we adapted the technology we had originally developed to improve the reliability and to operate at lower pressures and higher flow through, things that are important to the North American market.
Okay, interesting. Kody, you deal a lot with the North American market as well, I believe. So you're seeing like the success of that with that. Is there a difference in the length that's being used in the USA, and like, has there been kind of challenges that you've overcome with bringing in the milling tractor?
Oh, absolutely. So, lateral length, especially since about 2008 with the shale revolution and fracking, lateral lengths have significantly increased. I mean, there's some wells in the U.S. that are 4.5 miles long in lateral length. So it's continuing to increase. So I would say, on average, now in the Permian Basin, a is 2 miles, a 2 mile lateral or longer is pretty standard for your major or larger operators. There's still some shorter ones, but a lot of that is being driven by oil production out of these wells, and increasing lateral length increases the oil production out of a singular well, and then that in turn reduces a lot of costs that are associated with rig moves, casing equipment, that type of stuff. So that's the direction that they're going, and technology is trying to keep up with that change.
You may have answered this too, but just to clarify, why do you think it took so long for the tractors to be used in the U.S.? And is there are they seeing major benefits from using this technology now?
Well, once again, absolutely. The technology is there, but a lot of the shale technology is driven by a need. So as these laterals increase, there's a need for this technology to be developed and then utilized. With the 312 tractor, as lateral lengths increase past 2.5 miles, the current availability of tools to assist these operators reach target depth or the toe of their well bores were no longer effective. And that's where the 312 tractor is starting to take over that market.
I might add that in the Middle East, a lot of our work is on islands. And so to drill a second well isn't the option because you have to build another island first. That's extremely expensive. So long laterals there became the norm well before they did in the US, where it was easy to move just to another location nearby, drill your next well, and continue on.
Yep.
That's really good information. Tom, in with your time with WWT, have you seen a lot of evolution with the major energy providers that you're working with for developing the products and services?
Oh, absolutely. 20 years ago, 15 years ago, tractors, some of our other technology was very unusual, not well received. People were suspicious that, this is all new technology. And today, we're used not only to solve solutions on wells, but put in wells as just a potential in case we're needed, because the reliability has increased that much, and the understanding of the tools and how they're used has improved so much.
Would this be the case for you have the product, the IntelliPulsar? Would that be one that's a good example of this as well?
Yes, that's absolutely an excellent question, because that's a tool that's a bit ahead of its time. A tool that has unique capabilities to wirelessly transmit data back to the surface.
Okay.
And though we didn't see a large uptake on usage when it was originally developed, but now that wells in the Middle East are getting to the point where they're 40,000 foot,
wow,
you have a difficulty pumping down wireline or fiber in those same coil units. And we can take and transmit that data back to surface. We've just recently done a yard test this year, getting ready to do some field trials to prove that capability.
Okay, excellent.
A little ahead of its time.
And is that with technologies coming on a bit? It seems like it's being adopted rapidly right now. Are you seeing that technology in IntelliPulsar? Do they want that in the USA as well?
Yes, we're also working with customers up in Alaska that have that same need. I think we have another field trial scheduled on the 5th of November for another application using that technology. So yes, unlike the move to tractors, the move there is happening much more quickly.
Last question on this product: for energy producers, why is that downhole data so important? Like the real time data. What's the big benefit for them being able to receive that back?
The largest benefit that we see, and oftentimes, is optimizing parameters that they're using to complete these wells. So looking and being able to compare what's going on downhole in real time to what's going on at the surface. So really being able to dial in the drilling rigs and the associated costs that go along with drilling completions is very expensive when you start breaking it down on an hourly rate. So being able to be efficient as possible is what a lot of that data is being utilized for.
Sure, and also to vet decisions are made, they're basing off of uphole data. So we've recently done some jobs with a customer up in Pennsylvania where they were making decisions downhole based on what they saw uphole, and running our tool and collecting that data and then comparing it allowed them to vet that decision, make sure that they were making the right decisions for their well.
Yeah, that's and I guess that answers the question why that data is so important, because ultimately it can save a whole bunch of time and cost if you can kind of get those details and potentially save an issue down the line. One last thing I wanted to touch on, because you guys are it's a lot of innovation that WWT is doing. Are you seeing, like, what sort of industry trends are you seeing in that innovation space for the oil and gas sector? Are you seeing like a lot? Is there anything that stands out that you see coming ahead for the industry in general?
Yeah, that's also a good question. So, we're seeing a lot of evolution of our technology. People look at our NRPs as an example, and we're probably on the 30th version of that.
Mm.
And you can tell them apart a little bit by color. But most people can't see the difference, but technologies have changed. Wells are deeper, they're longer, they're hotter, and we have to evolve to that. It's the same thing with our tractors. We originally had one version, we now have many because it requires different solutions. Some things we're pushing, some things we're pulling. Some people want to go fast. Some people are more concerned about their ability to get there. Just things change in the industry, and it's good that we have a big engineering team to keep up with it.
Excellent. And
Anything?
All very valid points.
perfect. Yeah, and with that engineering side, I guess as more problems arise, you're kind of sitting there waiting for those challenges. It sounds like, because that's all part of the development process for enhancing the existing products and potentially new ones down the line. And
Absolutely. I mean, we kind of live for the next challenge. We're talking to customers all the time about potential solutions using our existing technology, and we're also working on some new technology, kind of exclusive to WWT.
Exactly. We're always engineering innovation and helping our customers reach farther.
excellent. Where will audiences? I mean, we'll have this episode coming out, of course, but where's the best place, would you say, to learn more about what WWT does? Potentially like more product information, newsletters, things like that. Where's the best places for them to go?
So the best place where we keep up to date on all of our product brochures, flyers, information, and even case histories across the globe is our website, which is wwtco.com. And if you need anything, always feel free to reach out.
Absolutely.
Okay, great. And I also have a note here that you do a lot on LinkedIn as well, which is great to see. It seems like that's a good platform for all kind of really up to date information. So I'm just going to plug that for you as well, which is WWT International, and you can find that by searching it on LinkedIn.
Yeah, and actually, our we just started this last month. Our Downhole Insights page is a LinkedIn article that is produced monthly that
excellent.
delves into a lot of the topics that we feel we're experts in. So it's gotten really good traction in the first month, and we're looking to build that to share our engineering expertise with people who are interested and willing to listen.
Okay, that's fantastic as well to know. So yeah, check that out, everybody. So their website and their LinkedIn, that's WWTco.com, I believe, is a website. And I want to say thank you, Tom and Kody, for joining us from PBIOS. Have a great rest of the show here. There, I guess I'm here, but anyway. Thank you, everybody, for watching Building Energy. Please subscribe on YouTube. Follow us on LinkedIn for Crowns and Partners and Building Energy. You can search those as well. And we will see you on the next episode. Talk to you soon.